Welcome back to day 5 of our cruise. Today we are in Santorini. Last night our ship took us from Athens and we're waking up with a beautiful sunrise right off the coast of Santorini, and today is our earliest day of our trip. We normally like to sleep in a little bit because after all it is vacation. So the boat anchors in the harbor, and then we take little ships called tenders into port. And if you do not have an excursion booked, here's a pro tip. You should get up early and be in line super early in order to get on one of the tenders. You do not need a ticket. After a certain time, I believe we got there at 7, I believe after 8, you needed to get in line and get a ticket that had a specific time on it that you would come back and get a tender in. The reason you want to be in there early is because, especially like on our day, there were 6 different cruise ships that were parked where we were. So there is, as you will see, only one way up, and it's either to walk or to take the gondolas, and of course we wanted to take the gondolas because that is a lot of steps. So we got on this little tender with everybody else. They really got as many of us on there as possible, and it was kind of a choppy day for the water. You can see we were leaving the ship here and headed in to the cliffs. The kids like to call it the cliffs of insanity, and if you are trying to hike up those steps, then I would have to agree with that. But it was actually a really beautiful ride in across the water. We could see the other ships that were docked there, and remember, that's thousands of tourists who all want to go to the same place you do. So it is definitely worth the early morning in order not to wait in huge long lines to get up the gondolas or cable cars. So once you get off the boat here at the port, then you see the signs and you get in line for the cable car. They only take a maximum of 6 people per car, and there are 6 cars. So as you can tell, only 36 people going up and 36 people coming down as the cars pass each other halfway. We didn't have to wait very long. It was about 15 minutes in line for the cable car, and it was a fun trip up. If you don't like heights, you might want to close your eyes during this one, but is definitely better than walking all of those steps to get to the top. Now, another option is donkeys, and we will show you some videos of the donkeys. It's pretty close quarters when you're walking up alongside them, but for right now we're going to tell you about the cable car because I definitely recommend going up the cable car. It's also not very expensive. It's a couple euros. But look at those views. Just a few minutes up the cable car and you are at the top and ready to explore the beautiful island of Santorini. Honestly, it's an experience in and of itself. It's kind of like a ride at Disney, and we definitely took it like that as we got to look around and see the beautiful sights. When we got to the top, it was still relatively early and a lot of the shops hadn't completely opened yet and all the tourists hadn't gotten up there yet. So it was a great time to just kind of leisurely walk to our end goal was the bus, but we were also hungry because we hadn't stopped for breakfast that morning. The sights up there are gorgeous. We had to, just as we stepped off the cable car, look down around and see where the boats were and the water, and that's where we were introduced to the donkeys, which was kind of fun. They just walk right by you, and they don't pay any attention to you, so make sure that you are not in their way because, yeah, they get pretty close, which is kind of fun. But we'll show you more pictures and videos and talk more about the donkeys after a little bit. And now you can walk with us as we walk towards the bus station in Fira. That's the main bus hub, and it's really not very far from the cable car. And you'll see there are lots and lots of places to go for all of your Santorini souvenir needs. There's ATMs. Be careful though, I'm sure there are high percentages on withdrawals from ATMs. And the Dr. Fish store. We thought this was fun. You can soak your feet with the fish, and I've heard that being done in Asia as well. It was cool to see. Of course, we found out there was a McDonald's, so the boys wanted to stop there for breakfast, and I do recommend stopping at the McDonald's, or at least right next to the McDonald's, because that's where Rebecca and I went. This bakery was amazing. If you punch into your GPS the McDonald's, you will see the bakery next door. They have just about anything you could ever want. Rebecca and I picked some pastries, and I gotta say the coffee was delicious. So handmade in front of you, wonderful. And we made it to the Fira bus station. You can just walk up to the bulletin board. It has all the schedules on it, or ask somebody. The buses continually are pulling in and out, and you just walk up to the bus and get on to the one that you know where you want to go. I will give you a word of caution: drink your coffee before you get there, because we were not allowed to bring that onto the bus. We got on the bus and we are headed to Perissa. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but that is the beach we decided to go to because we decided Santorini would be a wonderful day to have just a leisurely day on the beach. So we actually passed this little place. It was Lost Atlantis Experience, which I heard a lot of people actually enjoy going to, so it might be something to check out if you need something to do. The bus fare is only a few euros, but make sure you have cash with you. They will come around and collect your fare as they drive along, so just make sure that you do not only have a card. We passed a lot of beautiful buildings on our way, and then we arrived in Perissa, and it was super easy to just get off at that bus stop there. It is the Church of the Holy Cross, and it has those beautiful, iconic blue roofs. I liked this sign because it showed a dad and a kid walking, and most signs show the mom and kid, so I thought that was pretty cool to see there in Greece. We just walked down the street, and we were at the beach. You can rent your umbrella and some chairs pretty easily. I believe it was 15 euro or so for a set. So it wasn't very bad at all, and we spent a lot of time in the water. The water is very clear. There was stone on the ground, not stones, but a stone slab, so that can be kind of hard, and the water was very rough that day, so those waves were crazy, but it was so much fun. We also got some fantastic gyros at Wishbone Char Grill just up the street and enjoyed them on the beach. We were able to relax some and soak in the sun, and I guess we soaked in a little bit too much because a few of us had very bad sunburns after that. Definitely reapply your sunscreen regularly. Learn from our mistakes. So afterward, we took the bus back. We did a little bit of souvenir shopping and just looking around, checking things out. And as you see, plenty of places. We just followed the crowd because we knew they would take us back to the cable car. And they did, but those lines for the cable car were absolutely crazy. They wound down around. We figured it was well over an hour of wait just to get on the cable cars. So we decided instead of waiting, we would try the steps down. So if you keep walking to the other side of the cable car where we came up, you see the steps that go down. So we started and of course got passed by the donkeys. I would like to point out that I do believe it's mules, not donkeys. Due to several different factors, but that's what they're called, so we'll just go with that. And if you look over there, you can see that there is a switchback, and it's quite a ways down. I looked it up afterwards, and there are 586 steps, and as you walk, sometimes you'll pass some buildings where they're selling even more souvenirs if you forgot to buy any, or if you need a hat, because that's not a bad idea. With the sun pounding down on you, it does get rather hot. So that's another option for you right there. It reminded me a lot of steps in the Amalfi Coast, like Positano. Here you can see they have different spots along the way. If you decide, hey, I'd rather take a donkey down, they do have that option. I'm not sure how much it was because we didn't do it, but just be careful because the steps might look fine, but they're honestly very slippery. Here you can see the cable cars. It was really cool to see them pass each other. It did take us a while to hike down, but it was definitely nicer to be able to continue moving versus standing in a long line for a very long time. So here you can see, of course, with donkeys, there's going to be excrement. So there were quite a few piles along the way, and we even saw some guys, I guess it was their job, to pick up the piles, and we are going to show you where they deposit all that because it is very stinky, and this is why. Look at all that fertilizer right there, right along the edge of the walkway. So here you can see, sometimes if you don't like being that close to a donkey, maybe it's not the best idea to walk down the path, but you know, it was faster for us. And as you get onto the tender again, just make sure you get there in plenty of time to get back onto the boat. We really enjoyed our day. It was a great day, and we were tired and we were sunburned, but it was totally worth it, and the kids will never forget that, and neither will we. So as we got back on the ship, we got to enjoy that beautiful city on a hill, honestly. It was bright and shiny in the evening sunlight, and we are ready to shove off and get going. Tomorrow is a sea day, so we'll be doing a lot of relaxing, and it's the perfect day to tell you all about the food on board. There were so many food options, and we're super excited to show that to you. Here's a little bit of their fiesta night that night. Everybody was having a ton of fun on the deck. Come on back for day 6. Andio!